Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel and editorial discussion for 7th May 2022. My name is Harsh Singh and in this video we shall discuss an editorial from day before yesterday's Indian Express, Roe versus Wade beyond the US. This is an important editorial from the perspective of women's right, termination of pregnancy or abortion cases, and from the perspective of social issues. We will also understand the situation prevalent in our country, that is India. If you like this initiative, share some love through likes, shares and subscribes. Let's discuss. See, the situation of termination of pregnancy or abortion is such in USA that right now USA Supreme Court has provided a constitutional right to females so that they can terminate the pregnancies or abort their fetus up to 24 weeks of pregnancy. This is what is the situation. And this has been accorded to people as a right with the help of Roe versus Wade judgment of 1973. Roy, no individual named Roy. This was only a pseudonym for Norma McCorvey, a 22-year-old lady who wanted to terminate her pregnancy. Henry Wade was the district attorney for one of the districts in Texas. This was back in 1973, and she got the right to be able to terminate the pregnancy. However, the child was born, and then later she gave the child for adoption. And the state was fighting this case against the individual because state wanted to preserve the right of an unborn child. Now, until then, the situation in USA was such that termination of pregnancy was banned in 30 states and very much regulated in 16 states. So out of 50 states, 46 states had a huge regulation on termination of pregnancy and only 4 states were liberal. But after this a constitutional right guaranteed under Roe versus Wade 1973, the Supreme Court of USA said that in the first trimester there will be no regulation. The woman will be the one regulating the termination of pregnancy, and in second trimester there will be certain regulations. So it liberalized the laws on abortion. Now, until now, there is no union or federal law in USA on termination of pregnancies. All the 50 states have their own laws, and the laws right now are protected or are in sync with what Supreme Court has said. But lately there has been a leaked document from the Supreme Court of USA which might intend to overturn the judgment of Roe versus Wade. That means that the liberty, constitutional right provided to women on her body to abort her child, that might get overturned, and states might start having their own laws to regulate pregnancy. This is why a lot of protest is happening around the Supreme Court of USA. My body, my rules. If men could get pregnant, abortion would be free. Abortion is normal healthcare. This is what people are fighting for. Let us understand the perspectives to it. Now, before that, there is a concept of fetal viability, very important concept. This concept says that the fetus needs to survive on her mother's body until some time, after which the fetus can also survive with the help of technological aids. So abortion can be allowed till the time the child is dependent on the female or the mother, and after a specific time when the child can be aided with the help of external devices, the child need not be aborted. They can be taken care of and their life can be taken care of with the help of external instruments and gadgets. Now, with the aid of technology, this period after which the child can live with the help of external technology, this period has increased. That means the fetal viability, the time after which the fetus can survive outside the womb, this time has increased with time. So earlier fetal viability was 28 weeks, and now the fetus as small as 24 weeks can also survive. See, the average pregnancy is around 40 weeks. 40 weeks amounts to around 9 months. That's what is the period. And if the fetus is up to 24 weeks and is dependent only on mother and cannot survive outside, this time the female can get the child or the fetus terminated. But after 24 weeks, the child cannot be terminated because they can survive on external aid as well. This is the fetal viability condition. So this is the point at which the right of the women can be separated from the right of the unborn child, unborn fetus, right? So state wants to protect the rights of everybody at one point, the bodily autonomy of women, and at the same time the right of the unborn child. All right. Now, one issue here is related with some kinds of complications in termination of pregnancy. There are some abnormalities that come up in the fetus. Now, this complication could occur around 28 weeks as well, 22 weeks as well, and 20 weeks as well. Now, this time, this female may not be aware, and the doctors might not be aware by the time this fetal viability turns, that is 24 weeks turn. So this is a question which questions the 24-week period, right? Now, this is the concept. However, the perspective of the people who are saying that this law or this ruling must be overturned is something like this. They say that first of all, the United States history and traditions are not such, and they are not deeply rooted in right to abortion. This is one thing. They say that the elected representatives must be given the right to choose what should be done in a case like this. And the rulings of 24 weeks and one third of trimester, these are completely arbitrary. In fact, the Supreme Court has got this judgment in favor of the conservative judges which were appointed by the Republican government. Six of those judges are said to be in favor of overturning the judgment, and only three of the Democrat judges are said to be in favor of Roe versus Wade. So this is the situation. Now, there have been previous attempts in the 80s and 90s to have these kind of rulings. For example, heartbeat abortion law. It meant that nobody could be able to terminate pregnancy after 6 weeks of the child. Of the fetus, right, of the newborn zygote formation. 6 weeks, nobody will even be able to tell if the person is pregnant or not. So very, very tough law, but all of these were ruled against. So no such law was actually created. See, the state says that we have got the duty to protect the unborn fetus. This is one. So, legitimate ethical concern here. The second is viability of the fetus versus abnormality. Once we do not know what is the time of abnormality rising in the fetus, what is the significance of viability of fetus? Then, even if you want to grow the fetus out of the body and abnormality comes up at the age of 28 weeks, this is a concern, point of concern, right? And in India, in countries, developing countries, India, China, etc., there is also a preference for male child. If we liberalize the laws, then there will be further female feticides. So these are the possible issues that relate with the termination of pregnancies, right? But people have their rights. Women's rights are also human rights. This is very important. So one must have to look at the kind of impact it will create. It is being said that this will create ripples not only in America but beyond America, in states across the whole world, right? So for example, in USA itself, it is being said that 22 states, they will certainly impose those kind of restrictions on pregnancy which have not been seen previously. So pregnancy will be restricted, and who are the one to get impacted? It is women. Yes, and especially women from poorer backgrounds. It is women who are young and women who are Afro American. The research says that many people who get the termination done for pregnancy, they are Afro American, they are poor, and they are in their 20s. That is the issue. So women must have a right on their body. Now, there's also a concern that this conservative approach can also throw issues on LGBTQ rights, right? Lesbian, gays, bisexual, transgender, and queers rights, because the court has provided them also with rights. However, this conservative kind of judgment which is being passed on by majority Republican judges, this could also impact the next, that is LGBTQ rights. Now, people say that women rights have been hard fought for, and they'll be backsliding in these freedom and these rights for women. Essential freedoms will be curtailed. Not only that, this also impacts the poor people and the voiceless people. And why should women be at the whims and fancies of politicians, male politicians? That's a concern. So the opposition is also very much valid here, right? Let's understand the situation in India. See, India had passed a law called as Medical Termination of Pregnancy, MTP Act 1971. It also made an amendment to this act in the year 2021. Let's understand all this quickly. See, India allows abortion up to 20 weeks. Up to 20 weeks, one can get the child aborted through procedures and legally, with the help of the certified doctors and after consultation with the doctors. Earlier, the rule was such that up to 12 weeks, one has to consult one doctor, and up to 20 weeks, they would have to consult Two doctors. Now the new ruling after the 2021 amendment says that only one doctor needs to be consulted, even if the pregnancy has to be terminated up to 20 weeks. All right. But in case you want to terminate the pregnancy later than 20 weeks, it is to be done only in special cases. What are those cases? They are cases of rape. They are cases in which there is a incest survivor. Incest survivor means in case of such mishappenings inside the family itself and the survivor does exist and people are confused what to do, it can be terminated up to 12 weeks, right? In case of small children, minors falling into this kind of trap of pregnancy, all of this can be done provided two two registered medical practitioners have been consulted, two of them. Now see, 24 weeks can also throw issues on the safety of abortion and the health of the mother as well. So that is why two doctors have to be consulted. Now this is a special category. And in case of fetal disability, in case there is a disability in the new child, one can get the termination done at any point of time, but for that a medical board set up by the state government, union territory, has to be instituted. These are the new changes that have happened. Another new changes that has happened is is related to the rights of all women. So for example, even if a woman is unmarried and or if a woman is married, now in case there is an issue with the contraceptive failure, even in that case an unmarried woman can get her pregnancy terminated. That means earlier this provision was not there for unmarried women. Now this provision has been given for unmarried women also. In case the contraceptive is not good, didn't prove effective, and there has been pregnancy, they can get the pregnancy terminated according to procedures up to 20 weeks and one doctor to be suggested, to be recommended, right? Now this is the situation. Now you might think that this is all pro women right and bodily autonomy and privacy. Okay, that's great, but let's understand the opposite point as well. See, the situation in India is such that abortion in India is considered as criminal offense. If one reads the IPC, Indian Penal Code, section 312, one would find that abortion is a criminal offense, and medical termination of pregnancy is only an exception to this act, right? And this exception says that one could get the termination done provided they have the consent of other people also, not just their bodily autonomy and mind, doctors, partner, family members, and even the state. All this is required. So you can criticize this point of view. All right. So this is the right, actually how you should look at it is as the right of privacy to Indian citizens, right? The Puttaswamy judgment, one can look at it from this perspective as well. Looking at the situation all around the world, the such situation is this, that many of the developed countries also regulate termination of pregnancy. 16 countries around the world, abortion is entirely prohibited and even criminalized in 16 countries. But many Catholic countries where such termination was regulated, now they have become a little liberal. For example, Ireland and Mexico have decriminalized abortion. All right, last decade only. Imagine this, country like Ireland, developed country, and Mexico, very close to USA, have decriminalized only right now, right? See, in many of the developed countries also, in most developed countries, abortion is allowed up to 12 weeks, right? And USA was an exception where abortion was getting allowed beyond 20 weeks, that is up to 24 weeks. So you can see the situation of abortion around the whole world. How you must take a stand is something like this. One, women's body should not be the position for dispute and discussion of the choices on persons. Women's body cannot be the site for contestation and power play of what is freedom, what is choice, what is inclusivity. Body is personal autonomy. This is first thing. The second thing that you could take stand on is being pro-life. Yes, one has to be pro-life, but it does not mean that we become anti-woman. So a balance has to be retained. Now at least a balance of 24 weeks must be given. Why are we further segregating and reducing, eliminating the rights for women? So this is an important concern. See, this is a sensitive issue where, see, take for an example an unborn child, and in case they have some disabilities, right? Disabilities according to the common parlance. But if this unborn child wants to still get born and feel all right, what if they turn out to be Stephen Hawking and they're all right in their lives? So this provision also the state is trying to protect, right? And when state is trying to protect, it might not be entirely wrong, but then the state also has got the duty to protect women's right. So be sensitive about women's right, be sensitive about a new life. This is an ethical issue. We have understood the issue of Jade versus Roy, and we've also understood the cases in India and other countries abroad. Now a quick question to you: mention four issues related to removal of rights on pregnancy termination and three arguments in favor of such removal. So just two opposite points and providing your position on each of them. And in case you like this video, share some love through likes, comments, and shares. You got some questions, put it down in the comment section. I will ensure to get back to you. Thank you for watching.